The sky darkens over the Atlantic, and the ocean, once calm, begins to churn with a restless energy. For millions living along the United States East Coast, these are familiar signs. They signal the approach of a coastal storm. These powerful weather systems are a recurring feature of life, from Maine down to Florida. They are a broad category of storms, including famous hurricanes, but also powerful nor'easters and other hybrid systems. Each one brings its own unique blend of threats. Understanding these storms is the first step toward respecting their power and ensuring our safety when they arrive on our shores. Coastal storms begin their lives in a surprisingly simple way. They need a few key ingredients. The most important ingredient is warm ocean water. Water that is at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 26.5 Celsius, provides the necessary heat and moisture. This warm, moist air over the ocean begins to rise. As it rises, it cools and condenses, forming clouds and releasing energy. This process creates an area of lower air pressure near the surface. Air from surrounding areas with higher pressure then pushes into this low-pressure area. This is the very beginning of a storm's circulation. This initial circulation needs another element to grow stronger. This element is the Earth's rotation, known as the Coriolis effect. In the northern hemisphere, this effect causes the moving air to be deflected to the right. This is what gives storms their characteristic counterclockwise spin. As the storm system continues to gather heat and moisture from the ocean, this rotation becomes faster and more organized. The storm begins to take shape, developing the familiar swirling pattern we see on satellite images. It is a delicate dance of physics, turning a simple weather disturbance into a formidable force. One of the most immediate and visible threats from a coastal storm is its wind. The sheer force of the moving air can be terrifying and incredibly destructive. We measure the strength of hurricanes using the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale. A Category 1 hurricane has winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour. These winds can damage roofs, snap large tree branches, and cause widespread power outages. As the category increases, the potential for damage grows exponentially. A Category 5 hurricane, with winds of 157 miles per hour or higher, can cause catastrophic damage, destroying homes and leaving areas uninhabitable for weeks or months. The danger from wind is not just about its sustained speed. Powerful gusts, which are sudden bursts of higher speed wind, can be especially damaging. These gusts can catch objects and turn them into dangerous projectiles. Lawn furniture, garbage cans, and construction materials can become deadly missiles in a storm. While the winds of a coastal storm are dramatic, the water is often the deadliest threat. Storm surge is the primary reason. This is not a normal tide. It is an abnormal rise of water generated by a storm over and above the predicted astronomical tides. The storm's powerful winds push water toward the shore. This effect is compounded by the low atmospheric pressure at the storm's center, which allows the ocean surface to bulge upward. The result is a massive wall of water that moves inland, flooding everything in its path with incredible speed and force. To truly understand the threat of a coastal storm, we really have to look at the past. In late October of 2012, Hurricane Sandy provided a brutal lesson for the East Coast. Sandy was, honestly, a unique and massive storm. It was officially a Category 1 hurricane when it made landfall in New Jersey, but its size was enormous, with tropical storm-force winds extending nearly 1,000 miles in diameter. It actually earned the nickname Superstorm because it merged with another weather system, creating a sort of hybrid monster that brought a wide range of impacts to more than 20 states, particularly New York and New Jersey. The most devastating impact of Sandy was its record-breaking storm surge. The storm's path and its immense size pushed a catastrophic wall of water into the coastline. In New York City, the surge reached over 14 feet at the Battery in Lower Manhattan. This water flooded subway tunnels, crippled the electrical grid, and inundated entire neighborhoods. Communities along the Jersey Shore and the South Shore of Long Island were completely ravaged. Homes were washed away, boardwalks were destroyed, and the very geography of the coastline was altered in just a matter of hours. Another storm that etched itself into our collective memory is Hurricane Ida in 2021. Ida's story is really a tale of two different storms. First, it made landfall in Louisiana as a powerful Category 4 hurricane. Its winds and storm surge caused catastrophic damage along the Gulf Coast, eerily similar to the devastation of Hurricane Katrina 16 years earlier to the day. The storm crippled infrastructure and left over 1 million people without power in the sweltering late summer heat. The initial impact was a clear and brutal demonstration of a classic, intense hurricane hitting a vulnerable coastline. But Ida's journey did not end there. After causing destruction in the south, the storm weakened and moved northeast across the country. As it traveled, it was no longer a hurricane. It was what we call a post-tropical cyclone. However, it still carried an incredible amount of tropical moisture. When this moisture interacted with the terrain and atmospheric conditions over the mid-Atlantic and northeast, it unleashed historic and deadly rainfall. As we speak today, on October 8, 2025, forecasters are closely watching a new and concerning system. A strong coastal storm is developing off the U.S. East Coast. This is not a classic hurricane. It is being described as a hybrid storm, a powerful nor'easter that possesses some tropical characteristics. This makes its future track and intensity particularly difficult to predict. Computer models are showing several different possibilities. This uncertainty is a major challenge for forecasters and for the communities that lie in the potential path of this developing storm. The current forecast suggests that this storm could bring significant impacts to a large stretch of the coastline. The timeline for these impacts is expected to begin this Friday, October 10th, and could last well into the middle of next week. The Carolinas, especially the vulnerable Outer Banks, appear to be first in line. They could begin to feel the effects of heavy rain and gusty winds as early as Saturday morning. There is a real concern that the storm could stall or loop off the coast, which would prolong the period of onshore winds and heavy rain, leading to severe beach erosion and coastal flooding. By Sunday and Monday, the storm is projected to move northward. This puts the mid-Atlantic and northeast on high alert. Areas from the Tidewater region of Virginia, through the Delmarva Peninsula, the Jersey Shore, Long Island, and even southern New England could face a major blow. Some models are projecting a very strong low-pressure system, which would translate to damaging winds. Gusts of 50 to 70 miles per hour, or even higher in some coastal locations, are a distinct possibility. When a storm is approaching, having a plan is your best defense. Panic is the enemy of good decision-making. A well-thought-out preparedness plan created when the skies are clear can protect your family and your property. The first step is to know your risk. Do you live in an evacuation zone? Are you susceptible to coastal storm surge or inland freshwater flooding? You can find this information on your local emergency management agency's website. Understanding your specific vulnerabilities will help you tailor your plan to the threats you are most likely to face. Next, you need to assemble a disaster kit. This kit should contain enough supplies to last each person in your household for at least 3 to 5 days. Include non-perishable food, at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, and a flashlight with extra batteries. Don't forget a first aid kit, any necessary medications, and copies of important documents like insurance policies and identification. You should also have cash on hand, as credit card machines and ATMs may not work if the power is out. As the storm arrives, your priority must shift to staying safe and informed. The most important rule is to follow the advice of local officials. If they issue an evacuation order for your area, you need to leave. Do not wait. Storm surge can cut off evacuation routes quickly, and emergency services will not be able to reach you once conditions deteriorate. Your property can be replaced, but your life cannot. If you are not in an evacuation zone, your plan should be to shelter in place. Find an interior room on the lowest floor that is not subject to flooding. Stay away from all windows and glass doors. During the storm, it is crucial to have a reliable way to get information. A battery-powered or hand-crank NOAA weather radio is the best tool for this. It will provide direct alerts from the National Weather Service. You can also use your smartphone, but be prepared for power and cell service to go out. Make sure your devices are fully charged and consider investing in portable power banks. Monitor local news outlets and official social media accounts from your local emergency management agency and the National Hurricane Center. Information is your lifeline during a storm.